Hi, Damien. I'm so glad you joined us at a private HL7 Slack channel. You had asked a question about what this tab here is in Mirth scripts. So if you go to the channel, right, back it up. If you go to the channel, any channel, or create a new channel down here, you're going to see 4 tabs. And scripts is the last tab. And if you click this drop down, you're going to see 4 options. And these 4 options are very powerful in this channel. It's kind of funny because I rarely use them, but they are very powerful. For instance, any code you put in here is going to run every time you deploy the channel. So for instance, right now at my current job, I do integration there with Mirth too. And there are channels where every time we deploy, there's code in here. And what the code does at work is it connects to some random server and it grabs credentials for that channel. And that data persists, just like it says here. You can't have it persist throughout the entire channel. So it grabs credentials, puts the credentials in the channel, and then throughout the life of the channel being live or enabled, you can use those variables. So at work, on deploy, we connect to a database, we grab credentials, username and password, and throughout the entire life of that channel, well, the username and password is available to the channel. And then at the end, when we go to hit the API, downstream, then we take that username and password and use that in there. So this is where everything, I'm going to put a statement, everything before the channel. So I'm going to say before, that would deploy, right? On deploy of channel. I think I can put the channel name in here, just so you can see. Yep, deploy of channel, right there. So when I launch this, you're going to see on deploy there. Then if you click the undeploy, well, that's just the opposite. Whenever you take things out, whenever you disable, not disable, I'm sorry, undeploy the channel, then this code will run. So it's the opposite. I can't think of an example I've used with that. Undeploy, maybe you want to do the opposite. You want to take those credentials and you want to null them out so they're no longer accessible. I don't know if that's really a good example, because the minute you undeploy, those credentials that we created in the deploy should be dead. But sometimes you undeploy them, might be something that you need to do. But anyway, that's what that means. Preprocessor. It's just that, just like it says, does anything in here runs before Mirth processes channel. So a good thing with here, could be removing artifacts from the message. Sometimes there are little characters in a message that come through from systems to you, and they may not be compatible with your database. So you may want to remove them. Let's say you want to remove, what can we remove? That's an apostrophe. So to remove apostrophe, you would call out the message. That's the name of the, this variable named message is the variable that holds the raw HL7 coming in. So you would do that, and then you would type message again, and then you would say replace, and then you would replace what you want in here. So we want to replace apostrophes with nothing. And that should do that. Awesome. Okay, so you can use that with anything. You want to replace whatever you put in the first argument of the replace object here will look for that and then replace it with whatever's here. We're going to put double quotes empty, so that'll mean replace it with nothing. But if you want to replace it with a dash, you could. And that's what that preprocessor is all about. So I'm going to leave that there so we can run the example, and let's go to post processor, which is just, again, it's the opposite. Let me copy this. Okay, we copied all of that. You always want to put return here. Always leave that there so that it knows to go back to where it came from. That's very important. So I never touch return. I always make sure I stay away from it. So here's the post processor, and just as it says, script executes once after the message has been processed. So every time Mirth completes a process of a message and it's done, it's downstream, it comes back, this code runs. And I can't think of anything right now. I know I have used that, but right now I can't think of anything. So I'm just going to put a message so we can at least see that. All right, and let's run this thing. Save and run. And we're going to keep an eye on the logger statements. And there's our first one. Do you remember there was a deploy? And this is what runs in the deploy. You can see deploy channel, scripts, tab, demo. Awesome, we expected that. Let's go ahead and process a message, and we should get next to the preprocessor, right? The next preprocessor should run. I'm going to copy this ADT. I'm going to put a apostrophe after the wife, and that should remove that. I'm going to manually send in a message, mimicking it, so a system sending me a message. There's the apostrophe. I'm going to process it. Yep, everything works successfully. You can see here, raw, which is coming in, there was an apostrophe, and then if I go to processed raw, the apostrophe disappears. Make sure that on the sent of the destination, there's no apostrophe. Same thing. Awesome. So that worked. Let's go back to see the messages. Yep. So the deploy we saw, pre-processing there, we did that, and then post-processing, and there's a null there. So you saw deploy, pre-processor, post-processor, and next is undeploy, and there's that message. So that's it. That's what that does. It's very useful. It's very, like I said, it's really a powerful feature. You don't use it often unless you're doing super advanced integration, but it's there if you need it. And that was a really great question, and thank you for asking. Have a good day. See you in the Slack channel. Reach out anytime.